way. So, okay, so one after Flora is the easiest way to remember it. But you have to have your maps with you if you want to use the subway on your own, because on your maps you have the subway diagram, so you can easily follow it. Green line, that's the only one in which we are interested. Don't bother with the yellow or with the red, just green line. Tickets costs one ticket, which is good for 75 minutes in any means of transportation. Whether you use subway, whether you use streetcar, bus, but for us it will be either streetcar or subway, most cases. So who are going to the Sikhrov Castle today, I'll give them to you today. Those who are not going, please come and see me tomorrow in the morning. Or if you have any questions about where to go and what to mark for you on the map for tomorrow, because tomorrow you have a whole day in Prague on your own. So I will mark you some really
Czech. Meaning 333. So now you know how to order 333 beers, glasses of wine or something like this. That's very useful in here. Have you heard his name before? Yes, Saint Wenceslas Square, for example, is straight ahead of us. Some of you can see it already. Once we turn to the right, you will have the centers, one of the cores of the new town. And the grey building was the National Museum, established in the 19th century. If you are interested in any kind of fine arts, then do not go to the National Museum. It's dedicated to the natural sciences, so collections of stones, botanics, stuffed animals, whatever, but no fine art. If you are interested in fine arts, then tell me which period you are interested in. There's one difference. Saint Wenceslas never was a king. He was a duke, he was a prince on Wenceslas Square. Talking about the writing statue of Saint Wenceslas, the one standing at the top of the Wenceslas Square, that's the most famous meeting point in famous Czech artist, young man David Černý, who is rather extraordinary, let's say. So his work is extraordinary as well, and he made a nice writing statue of Saint Wenceslas, which is upside down. Saint Wenceslas is sitting on the foundations exactly at this time. The stone bridge would be here forever, and as you see, the legend more or less really works, because the bridge names two different names for the very same river. And if you have a look to the other side of the Vltava river, there is already the area of the old town. The complex of low buildings made of red bricks and grey stones, that's the convent of St. Agnes, dated back to the 13th century, 1200s. Do you see it? That's the church of Our Lady the 14th, one of the main churches of the old town square. As Agnes has mentioned, this is the goal for the second part of the tour. We are heading for the old town square, and where you see the spires, that's the place where the Habsburg dynasty, the Austrian royal dynasty. There is the Lesek Water. The first bridge you see is the famous Childers Bridge, and to the left, the Habsburgs ruled here for almost 400 years. 1526 up till the year 1918, and we will spend over 1 hour. We will spend like
These are dated back to the 1600s, but the core of the Prague castle is dated back to the 9th century, 800s. That's the time when the first stone building was built up. That was a church of Virgin Mary. You may compare the Prague castle to your White House, except our president does not live in here. He keeps his own apartment. One of the reasons is believed to be Václav having the castle now. If you want to, you make it closer and have a proper look at it. You make it closer. soldiers in the ship, divided by 6, 2 for each entrance. It's 1 hour on duty, 2 off. 1 on, 2 off, 1 on, 2 off, and they have to be patient. They are not allowed to move. I mean, they are allowed to blink their eyes. If it is raining, they can make a step backwards to hide themselves. And there is one more way they can move. May I use you? Just come closer to me. She's a soldier and I'm a tourist taking pictures. If you are standing like this, that's quite all right. But if you are touching them, standing too close, I don't know, leaning, because they were messing around, what they would do? They would take their gun and hit your toes and just... Disease, exactly. It's a disease when your body is shaking and you cannot control it. The name of the disease came from a real person, Saint Vitus, who lived in the 3rd century. Try to think of something nice like sauna and worldwide. What is the oldest church? The one to your left-hand side, the one which looks like Baroque church, is dated back to the 10th century too. That's Church of Saint George. You may easily tell by the motif you find in the triangle part of the roof. There is Saint George beating the dragon. Do you see it? Yes. And I mentioned they were the rulers of our country for almost 400 years exactly. When they became rulers in the year 1526, they became Catholic rulers in mainly Protestant country. More than 78% of the Czechs were Protestants by this time. They promised it wouldn't cause any troubles, but of course it did, and it ended up with the Second Prague defenestration, when 3 Catholics were pushed out of a window by Czech Protestants. The Habsburgs decided to punish the Czechs, the Protestants, so they were waging war against the Czechs, Catholics against the Protestants. Unfortunately,